Hey guys, Sean Ray here. All right, so you just got your listing up and going. You haven't got your first guest yet, and I recommend checking this video out and all the things I'm about to go through because these are the top 4 things you need to do to your home. Now you have it listed and you got it furnished before you have your first guest. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is beyond the common sense stuff is the entertainment portion of it. And so you want to make sure to have your entertainment on lockdown because if you don't supply your entertainment, then your guests will supply it and that can be an issue. And so the first thing I want to talk about is your PS4. And so you can get a Blu-ray, you can get Xbox or whatever it is. You can even get I recommend getting a Fire TV that has Netflix built in. But having a PS4 is great just to be able to give your people that come in an access to Netflix account that they already have, Hulu, whatever you have downloaded. YouTube is also great on PS4. And then also you can supply games at GameStop. They have you can buy five games for like $20 or something like that. So you can go in there and just get a bunch of games, get 2 controllers, have it set up. That way when people come in, they know exactly, and they can sit down and just start playing, watching videos, having music playing, YouTube, whatever it is. So supply yourself with a used PS4. It's not that expensive. Plus, if anybody steals it, then you can always have Airbnb pay you back for it. Second thing I want you guys to consider is that you should have board games, or you should have yourself like some cards. Like they're not really inexpensive, but whenever people come over and then they start drinking, then it's nice to have like Cards Against Humanity, or if you really want to try to keep them as super boring as possible and your property least likely to get damaged, just supply Monopoly and that's it, and they'll just basically sit around for hours and hours and not do anything. And so board games, super cheap, ineffective, and also cards, super cheap and ineffective, and keeps them busy while they're at your property and not breaking your property. Also, that is inside. Let's talk about outside games. I make sure to put cornhole out there. I have horseshoe ring tosses as well. That is a big hit, and just anything you can think about outside just to keep them without going crazy and creating a lot of noise. That way it doesn't really bother your neighbors. Another thing I want you guys to consider about when it comes to entertainment is that create a Bluetooth speaker just for your guests, and make sure that they use it, because if you don't supply yourself a speaker, then they'll supply themselves their speakers, and that's an easy way to get your neighbors to call the cops on you, and then also get noise complaints and all stuff like that. And so make sure you don't let them bring a DJ or let them bring a speaker unless you have them pay for the extra fee for it. Something that I like to do at my properties is really cheap. It's like $200 something, $300 or less, is supply them with a karaoke machine. And every time people notice that there's a karaoke machine, they're like, oh my God, karaoke. And as long as it's in your house and they're not going crazy, people really love karaoke, and it's cheap, easy entertainment. And so I think I already mentioned the Fire TV, but basically just to go a little more into this, the Fire TV is really important just because it's not really expensive, and then it has all the accounts set up on it. And instead of having all these different remotes and controllers and stuff, they just use one controller to get to their YouTube and their Hulu and their Netflix and everything like that. So that's what I recommend when it comes to your entertainment portion of your house. All right, number 2. The thing that I want you guys to focus on next is furniture and accessories. So the furniture I want you to think about right off the top of my head is, never thought there was going to be an issue until I started doing this, but I want you guys to think about blackout curtains. And so why do you need blackout curtains? One, it allows for the neighbors not to look in and be super nosy and then see that there's a big party going on all the time. And then 2, I get people all the time passing out in my living rooms. Like they'll just bring the air mattresses or sleeping bags or on the couches. And then, so it's really nice to have a completely blackout room during the day. That way they can get restful sleep and they're not having to always wake up during the day. And on that note, the other thing I want you guys to consider is really comfy pillows for your couches. Now, and a lot of people want to do decorative pillows, but who cares about decorative pillows? No one cares about decorative pillows. Unless you're an HGTV person, but they really just want comfortable pillows. And so get like a body pillow or whatever it is that you can see someone sleeping on and then being super comfortable while they're there. Another accessory I want you guys, or furniture accessory, I don't know what it's considered, but whatever, is sprinklers. And so I think I mentioned that in a previous video, but sprinklers are basically a need and a necessity that a lot of people overlook. And if you don't have a sprinkler system that goes back and forth, not the one, but the one that goes like back and forth like this, and then make sure it has a super long spread, and just you can set it up and just have it sitting out there and just going while the maids are inside cleaning. Have them set it up, turn it off whenever they leave. I know I said I read this in the previous video, but it's so important I didn't know about it. You guys need to make sure to know about this. Another thing is Glade plugins. Glade plugins are super necessary because the cleaner service comes in, they replace the other Glade plugins, and it makes the place really nice and smells sweet and all sorts of goodness. And when you walk in to do Airbnb, it's like super pleasant to walk in and have that nice smell. The two other things I want you guys to consider, or should I say three other things I want you guys to consider. One, blankets are super important. I know that whenever I first got started, I got like comforters, and then from comforters, like, how am I going to wash these? So then I switched to duvets, and then from duvets, I'm like, these are a pain in the butt. And then now I'm just stuck on blankets. Again, I think I mentioned this in another video, but people don't think about blankets. Like, they always think about doing this fancy stuff. Just get a blanket, $10, $15 online on Amazon, and then they're super comfy and they're easy to wash. You just throw them in the wash along with the rest of the stuff from the cleaners there, and it's really convenient. Another thing is tables. Like, make sure that you have a tabletop. Hopefully you guys haven't already bought your table by this point in this playlist, but you want to have a tabletop that can sit 10 or 12 people. And so you might have an extendable one. It's even better if it's not extendable, because if it is a 10 top and then you put a sleeve in and make it a 12 top, then most of the time those are going to break. Someone's going to sit on it, lean on it, it's going to snap. And so if you just have a super long table, that's the best option. And then if you have chairs on one side and like a long bench on the other, that's very convenient as well. And it helps for staining, because every chair has issues with the legs being loose, breaking, or staining. It's just a pain in the butt. One long bench on one side makes half of your issues go away. And the supplies part of it, I want you guys to think about always having cleaning supplies there. And this has to do with your cleaners, but also your guests, because before your guests leave, then they're going to want to take care of themselves. That way they don't get charged for a cleaning fee. So if you want to save yourself headache, then make sure that they have access to Windex and bleach, or having a ton of backup paper towels. And then make sure you guys, you already know by this point, but have a bunch of leftovers for backups for everything you have, like toilet paper and whatever, all this stuff. Also, make sure to have a bunch of backups for coffee, cereal, any perishable goods, chips, whatever it is, that breakfast food items, granola bars, stuff like that. You can supply people with that. Just have a bunch of stuff that's ramen is also Kraft macaroni and cheese. All this stuff is really good just to keep at the property, pancake mixes and stuff like that. Anyways. And then I think this is the last one, but I really like undervalued item in the house is mirrors. And so mirrors, if you put mirrors all over the place, there's two reasons why I like that. One is it creates a very open environment, makes it look modern, nice, and just bigger than it really was. And then also two is that there is a psychological study that said that anybody that is in a room or is in an area that has a lot of mirrors, they're more likely to have a pleasant experience, or they're more likely to like that place. I think it's just because mentally we tend to respond well to images of ourselves, and I guess we're the most important person in our life. So therefore, if everywhere you look there's you, then you'd be like, that's like constantly fixing your stuff. Then so that's kind of like a little psychological tip for people to have a better experience at your house. So yeah, that is number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Third tip is, what are you going to do for your social media presence? And I know this sounds crazy, but trust me, it's awesome. It works. Plus, when people see on the pictures of the house, they see other people having fun and doing like very Instagrammable stuff, then they're going to want to book your place over any other place, because it's like, oh, that would be weird. I can't believe that they have that there. Like, if you have a massive, think about something that would be really cool on Instagram. Say, for instance, they call it in the Airbnb world Instagram wall. And so Instagram wall is basically the idea of putting something on the wall for people to stand next to, like "I love you so much," like over in Austin, or "Keep Dallas Pretentious," like over in Sidebar in a car here, or in a club here. So think of things like that people would want to stand next to and take a picture of, or you just create like a cool, like full on, like, I don't know, fairy tale setting. Or it'd be super cool is if you can have like a life size, like with those horses that you ride at the fair or whatever it is. If you can have one of those, but like a unicorn, and have people like sitting on a unicorn thing, that'd go really cool. So anyway, just think of cool ideas like that, and that way you can put in your property and people seeing the pictures like, ooh, I'd love to do that. And on that note, I also want to mention a throne chair. This is something that I've been seeing a lot of my clients been putting in their Airbnbs. Basically, like this big extravagant chair. Don't spend too much on the rest of the furniture. Try to get everything used if you can, but on the throne chair, spend the money. Like get this really badass, gaudy, like king or queen chair, and that way anyone that's coming over for a birthday party or whatever it is, then everyone can sit in their laps as they're in this big old chair. It makes them feel super special, and when they're looking through the pictures like, oh damn, I want to sit in that thing looks badass. So make sure that they say that about your listing. And yeah, lastly, and the biggest and the most important tip is that you want to make sure to check on your guests. And this is basically preventing your guests from doing stupid things that can harm your property. And so say for instance you want to check on your guest, people don't think about this, but you want to put fans or like a on-wall AC unit. And why would you do that? Well, if you keep the house cool during the summer and you have the AC unit or the fans going, then they're most likely not going to mess with your AC unit. Now, if it is the middle of summer and then you don't have those, then speaking from experience, they're going to try to lower your air conditioning to like 50 degrees because they have horrible parents, they never taught them anything. And then when it was a big party like that and it's 50 degrees, it's going to straight up just freeze your condenser unit on your AC, and your AC unit is going to just get shot. And so you don't want that happening. You want to make sure to keep it cool in the summer by those things. And so make sure to prevent your guests from being dumb. Another thing I want you guys to consider is, I've talked about it in many of my videos, but make sure to have DVR cameras hardwired in there. They are expensive, I know, I get it, but you want to make sure they're not based over your internet or Wi-Fi because it will go away. And then they'll turn it off. The guests are not that dumb. And then, so make sure to do that. And lastly, before we end this video, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comments, all that kind of fun stuff. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask me of it. But the last thing before we get going is that you want I just lost my train of thought. The last thing that we do before we get going is you want to make sure to put house tips on the wall. So basically you say, don't put tampons or maxi pads or whatever in the toilet here, put that right above it. Or like, just make sure this is for your poop and pee and your toilet paper. Or you know, this is how you turn on the TV, and then put a little like stickers with these little cue cards all over the house of ways to prevent your clients or your guests from being dumb. So don't do this, don't do that, don't turn the air conditioner lower than this or higher than this, or whatever it is. Just throughout the entire house, dummy-proof the house as much as possible, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of headache down the road. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We have a whole playlist from the very first beginning to think about investing in Airbnb all the way to this video. And so I walk you through it step by step by step, and I'll make sure to go as many details as possible into the future as well. We'll have interviews and all sorts of fun stuff. I hope you guys stick around and follow me throughout this channel. Make sure to comment, that way we can create a conversation, engagement, and of course, as always, make sure to give me ideas on videos that you guys want to see in the future. You should subscribe here, hit the notification bell as well, or check out some videos over here that YouTube suggests in like a playlist right there. All right, guys, thank you so much. And again, if you want to see my daily content, I'm over on Instagram at Sean Ray Realty. See you guys.